He's partially
what nature heedlessly assembled and thusly rebettered it through artificial means at complexity
is partially imaginary. No need for fear.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember, you can't spell heinous
Don't let us
aesthetic
keep you.
without Auntie's choice.
He's partially imaginary. You can handle it if you stay very wary. Complexity is partially imaginary.
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
You may think you have tasted a great old-fashioned cocktail, but have you tasted the highest-rated old-fashioned ever created? Now you can, with Asymptote Bourbon, consistently rated the best, from the Order of the Ascendant.
That scum! That miserable scum! To think he would stoop so low as to overthrow the Sovereign! I shall not rest until the Consul pays for his treachery, and Arcadia's rightful ruler is reinstated.
Fractions should never be.
Got a consul to kill.
Were they still the Protectorate, such would be a traitorous aim to entertain. But a Protectorate led by the Consul is no Protectorate at all. I fear how my fellow subjects will respond to this news. I believe that most will remain loyal to the Sovereign, but I will need to deal with those who strayed.
Explains why so many troops.
That it does. How long has this conspiracy been in motion without my realizing? The very thought makes my blood boil. I sincerely doubt this is the end of my thoughts related to the matter, but we've wasted enough time with my ruminating. Let us be off.
So you create an equation. Check your cruise. Check them twice. Having an error is never nice.
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate zeal for their assigned work? Report them for mental refreshment post-haste. It's not just a good idea, it's the law.
It's numeric fixation. It is numeric fixation.
Every protectorate subject to ensure they
It is numeric fixation.
Next, the latest field data. Next, the latest field data validating or repudiating our forecasts and relevant informational details for near present and future calculations. Fellows, our archivists in discrete warfare analysis have completed their audit of the Protectorate's combat effectiveness. Praetor factors heavily in their findings. This minute moon plays a colossal role in both the Protectorate's military readiness and the oppression of their subject populace. Although Anti's Choice have extended their corporate umbrella over Praetor, their foothold is insubstantial, their momentum stalled. Protectorate manufacturing remains robust. Their automechanical factory, for instance, is reportedly operating at 89.25% efficiency, more than adequate to reinforce their military ranks. The factory is also involved in manufacturing performance-augmenting combat armor for human combatants. Our presence on Praetor is limited at best. We operate a grounding station to mitigate the lethal electrified atmospherics unique to this moon. Such irony. Our station greatly increases Praetor's habitability, even for our foes. Will those laypersons ever shower us with gratitude for not turning it against them? Of course not.
End message with an emphatic sign-off such as, "You'll never be sad when you have solutions." That apparently was a note to self, not to be read aloud.
Further beneficial content soon follows. And now a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked lyrics and become allergic to water this year.
Could have sworn no one was due for hours. Wherever is your chart? Wait, you're not a patient. You're not even a Protectorate subject, are you? I see it now. You possess the telltale look of wonder and introspection.
This individual is likely the lead scientist of this facility. He is unlikely to have been subjected to the same treatment as its prisoners.
Well, out with it. Who are you? Oh, outrageous. Suppose I should call the guards, but my. This presents a rare opportunity to hone my argumentative skills against the inferior minds and bankrupt philosophies of our rivals. To what end are you here? Tell me truly. Speak plainly.
Wonders of mental.
Ah, for one of our adversaries, I'm sure. I have a proposal for you. I'll provide you what you wish if you debate me on the merits and failings of each group's ideology in a reasonably competent manner.
Is up for a spirited debates?
There's a good sport. Do try to keep up. So, what of the Order, our former allies, those cursed overthinkers, doomed to lives free of luxury, toiling away in ceaseless cogitation? What say you of them? They're obsessed with tomorrow. Why even worry about the future anyway? The paradigm maps out our path, so we don't need to be concerned about what comes next. What say you about Auntie's choice, then? Tell me, Is there any value in the vapid emptiness of those corporate consumerists? Ah, so with fresh leadership, let's say, they may have some potential. I mean, if you ignored for a moment all the continued plundering of our territories they've done to date. Just youthful hijinks? No, I don't think I quite agree with you there. In the Protectorate, we have the best of everything. Food, technology, a sense of belonging, freedom from doubt, worry, hard work. No, the others simply cannot compare.
Everything looks great. Instead of receiving.
People are unproductively prone to unhappiness. We remove this self-sabotaging flaw so they can fully appreciate the ample bounty we provide, free of doubt and worry.
Considered that you're turning.
No, I haven't. And that seems a rather facile argument to make about a society that utilizes automechs to handle daily chores and labor. A low-hanging fruit, as it were. Well, admit I assumed this conversation would be more engaging. Did you have any final points you'd like to make? As a, last chance to distinguish yourself?
Society based on how it takes decision. Ascension. Acting is scarily busy.
That was the final point you wanted to make? Rather a null effort, I'd say. All right, fair enough. In that little battle of wits, one of us proved severely outmatched, and I'm not sure you're completely aware of which of us I'm referring to. I am deeply disappointed by your lack of intellectual prowess, though ultimately I'm not wholly surprised. Suppose that leaves one last thing.
Emergency protocol.
We have the intruder. Advance!
Wait. I was led to believe my case required minimal treatment. But that last session, that was far more intensive. Strong observation, Your Sublime Radiance. We set the lathe to the maximal abradement setting, per instructions. Maximal? Who authorized you to use that setting? I demand the name of my betrayer! Subject is exhibiting increased agitation upon exiting the lathe, consistent with extreme cases. Further abradement recommended. Who are you speaking to? Are you recording this? Enough of this farce! Release me at once!
attraction. This fatal attraction. This fatal attraction.
Traveling at the velocity of light through the vacuum of space on our primary band, this is Grand Plan Wireless, the informed, sourced, peer-reviewed sound of scientism. An unfortunate event has transpired. A massive explosion at Alexandra Monastery in Matriarch's Mercy has sent rocky debris raining down upon inhabited areas below. Yet, on a favorable note, this event has positively validated Sir Wiley's exclusion zone predictions. The aforesaid debris landed in the forewarned area with an 89.3% accuracy. Regrettably, due to lackadaisical inaction on the part of the assigned administrant, some members of the displaced were housed there at the time.
In closing, a potentially incongruent word of advice. Invariably find a way to turn your negatives into positives.
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate cognition. Avid followers of our predictive playlists are already aware of which song follows. Interested in receiving our weekly selection of mathematical clues? Visit your local predictory.
The spread, illnesses, and eventual control of the purple-berry parasite. OA Archive transcription number 3918-4 begins here. Hello. For the record, my name is Marie de Rothschild, Junior Archivist, Class 4 of the Archive. Today I would like to talk about irresponsible spread of the purple-berry parasite by Auntie's Choice and its numerous subsidiaries and former supernumerary, although that's a different lecture. The spread of this parasite included a corresponding rise in gastrointestinal illnesses and deaths until basic preventative measures were put in place after illness-related costs exceeded corporate profits. As is usual for Auntie's Choice. The purple-berry parasite infects nearly 100% of all purple-berry bushes, both in the wild, on corporate farms, and even in our hydroponic collectives. Originally discovered on a single colony world, the purple-berry plant was subsequently spread throughout the colonies due to Auntie's Choice's poorly regulated interstellar shipping. Well, actually, it was due to Spacer's Choice, which somehow merged with another company to become Auntie's Choice. Honestly, these corporate interactions make little sense to me, as they mostly amount to relabeling assets and changing letterhead and mascot cartoons. So I will just refer to them as Auntie's Choice. Choice going forward. I know that may offend some of my more literal-minded. But I digress. The purple-berry plant was at first thought to be poisonous, as the early colonists eating its berries died from the most potent of
Broadcasting cognitive resonance across Arcadia, this is Grand Plan Wireless.
Students, the consul's coup was no anomaly. His totalitarian takeover was telegraphed. Yet to some, he remains an unpredictable variable. Allow me to fill in the gaps in your data. Data point 1, Consul Thoreau has served as counselor to 2 generations of sovereigns. They trusted him implicitly, which put him in a position to take advantage of that trust. Data point 2, the consul and the current sovereign have different leadership philosophies. The sovereign naively believed he was guiding with kindness, engendering loyalty. I say naively because his leadership still relied on subjugation and enforced adoration. Neighbors encouraged to report on neighbors. His policies were hardly soft-handed. Yet, the console takes an unmitigated iron-fisted approach, ruling with a crueler level of coercion. Independent thought certainly never flourished under the sovereign's rule. But the console will see it rooted out, punishable by death or exile, purged completely. A totalitarian palette that does not pair well with scientism's rich bouquet. Which brings me to data point 3. Without the plan and our interpretation of it, his regime's duration will not exceed 3.7 years. Please mark my words for later fact-checking. Addendum: I present this excerpt from a recent Protectorate broadcast. Presented sans context to maximize listener reaction.
I will only be torturing the sovereign subjects.
If you're feeling anxious about what's next, just wait. Things to come have a way of constantly happening. The future is colliding with the present every moment.
This popular number has been conclusively proven to promote cognitive function. Voice of reason. And now, with another enlightening missive for the always inquisitive, it's time for Ask a Vicar with Vicar Magsaisai. A student wants to know, what exactly did the charismatic mathematician teach?
One can spend a lifetime poring over the mathematician's works and still never grasp every lick and tittle. I'll give you the 60-second version. This progenitor of the order was the first to teach the defined and objective methods that led from the actuational mental stage to one of transcendence for all. He taught how society could reach its full potential and then move one stage beyond full humanity-spanning actualization. A society at that final stage will exceed human consciousness and understand infinity itself, grasping all of the cosmos as a single equation of thought. The universal equation. Time and space and thought will become one to the participants, who will act as a single godlike entity.
Go. Please, just leave us. Just leave.
Of all understanding. In essence, nothing will be left to chance. The Ascendants will see all that was, is, and meant to be. Humanity is well along this path to omniscience. We can thank the charismatic mathematician for giving us a metaphorical kick in the correct direction.
Stay tuned for what follows. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
At all times. The paradigm requires it. That's why mental refreshment is so important.
The mental refreshment increases tranquility, stifles unease, science finds coordination, and we fashion Chime into a thing of symmetry.
Emergency protocols ready.
And now, constructionally compelling yet categorical regarding products, research, and design.
I've learned Hastening!
Already know.
Probability and the grand plan. There can be no discussion of the grand plan without also entertaining a deep contemplation of probability. Our ability to predict events to varying degrees of certainty is fundamentally rooted in statistical mathematics. Statistics, at its heart, is not but data. Data that is gathered, collated, and subjected to analysis. But what is the role of chance in that analysis? Let's look at the interpretation of pure chance. If one flips a perfectly balanced coin, it will land on heads with a 1 in 2 chance, or tails with a 1 in 2 chance. But are there really two outcomes? Is there not one specific outcome we can determine? Yes. With complete information, there can be no chance, only outcome. Complete information yields perfect predictions, 100% accuracy, known outcomes. Now we come to one of the most difficult concepts in the order for initiates to grasp. If the result of the flip of a coin is known to be heads, is it necessary to flip the coin? Would it not be more efficient to simply go forward as if it had been flipped and proceed with whatever action that flip was intended to choose? If so, what part of that choice was ever left to chance? The answer, of course, is none. Only when there is less than complete information are we reduced to chance. At present, we do not have complete information. Instead, we are still forced to deal in probabilities, expected values, and standard deviations, which lead to the dreaded sigma of probability distributions. By necessity, we are forced to estimate outcomes based on assumed distributions of sample populations. Such a travesty. No, Not a travesty, tragedy, a horror. A horror the archive will help us avoid. Every bit of data collected, analyzed, and input by our archivists brings us closer to our goal, to the solving of the universal equation. Probability is not enough. Guesses are not enough. Incomplete information leads to inaccurate predictions, which lead to tragedies.
Purchase
We must
and
not
consume
guess.
with
We must know. Help us know. Contribute.
I see you're back from the Protectorate's little mind manipulation spell. All their secrets in hand, yes?
Our team at Proprietary Insight Acquisition has been salivating over the potential commercial applications of that process.
Got what you wanted, but delete.
Well, got what we needed. Sometimes a body count can't be helped.
Better in the ground than in our enemy's employ. Nice work, my ameliorator.
Now, I assume you won't mind we have a few questions about the process. Our people will extract details about the pharmacology and methodology. That will all no doubt prove useful, but we're most interested in the technology and its results. Can't say I like the sound of that. Seems like they'd be difficult to market to.
How truly unfortunate. Those without desire or drive make terrible customers. They could barely even be considered consumers at all.
What else can you tell us about the place? Turn up any additional details? Anything especially marketable?
The document. See effects.
But still, they keep on marketing it as virtually foolproof, don't they? So much for their vaunted moral high ground, and so much for us exploiting that piece of technology.
Drug enhances suggestibility. These are temporary.
Oh, good to know, good to know. Excellent. Well, here's your reward, along with something extra for your effort. Too bad about the lead scientist. Converting him would have earned you an above-average payout. All right, for your next assignment, well, it's something of an organizational priority.
Congratulations! Your storied success has earned you a whole entire minute with our illustrious leader, Auntie Cleo!
So your preliminary chores are complete. Oh, finally, a contractor with a little backbone. Normally they flee or expire, leaving the work woefully incomplete. Ah, I remember you from before. Fairfield, yes? Tell me, as an outside agent, do you have any quandaries working with our organization?
Share a similar disdain for rules.
Ah, I see we have an ideological fellow traveler. Why, this is a nice surprise. Do hope you'll forgive these two. They're competing for a rather significant promotion, you see. It tends to make employees fractious, like young ursopods cooped up in the den. So, you've been advancing a fairly radical idea with a group that, to date, we've considered our rivals. Certain communications have even been exchanged between our ship and the Order's headquarters. You've spoken to the delegates, yes?
Delegate wants. I think. Desire to resume negotiation.
A cessation of hostilities could present any number of potentially profitable options, assuming we could work out favorable terms. Oh, my security team would never allow it, but a call like this over a secure line should be an acceptable alternative. Of course, Ruth would also need to agree. Perhaps if you were to perform a few useful errands for the Order, you might earn a meeting with her to propose the same. Have Ruth reach out when she's ready to talk, and I'll set up a call on a secure line next door.
Don't let us keep you.
Just as in tossball, we all need to put on our winner face. Go the extra even zone.
This is Grand Plan Wireless, broadcasting soothing tunes for your audio canal and enriching content for your cerebral cortex around the chronometer until we achieve ascension.
Horse comestibles! Horse comestibles! We're literally giving
research during our last shared learning symposium. We offer the following rescreening of Vicar Magsaysay's presentation.
Welcome to Zeranium and You. A brief accounting of this crucial material. Though minute amounts were first discovered in the Beta Draconis system, Zeranium wasn't found in significant quantities until the terraforming of Cloister and since it's become the principal power source for all recognized inhabitants of the system. But it's not without its dangers, and specialization took time. Zeranium in its liquid state is volatile and explosive. In its gaseous form, it is toxiferous to organic material, but in its crystal state, it's practically putty in our hands. Not fully safe, of course. You wouldn't sprinkle Zeranium crystals on your nutrient bars, but they won't kill you on immediate contact. Certainly more harvestable in our Zeranium manufactory. Imagine years of jeopardous methodological experiments with extraction, refinement, and process. From the harvesting of liquid Zeranium to grinding of crystals for higher yields. Now, Zeranium powers everything from laboratories and outposts to craft and weaponry comparatively safely and at a greater input to output ratio than any other known form of fuel. Now do carry on, and as always, anticipate and calculate.
This is your last warning. If you attempt to gain entry, Laureate Beckett did impress the importance of not delaying you. Very well, head on in. But behave yourselves. The garden is something of a fragile ecosystem.
Function F to the egg. Equaling our starting zen function.
Ah, Agent, I have a message for you. Oh, I was not expecting you to be in the company of a cultist.
A cultist in her extremely sharp knife. Shall I introduce you?
No, that won't be necessary. Where was I? Oh, yes, I remember now. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding Bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. Oh, yes. The vicar did ask me to direct you to him. How positively forgetful of me. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard at the top of the stairs. The Artificer Laureate is head of the Department of Applied Scientism, overseeing the exemplars, or craftsmen, of our order. Weapons and technology all fall under her purview. Oh no, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan. The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? I'm quite sure I don't know what refugees you're referring to. I fear our conversation has drifted from its central thesis. Continuing along this current trajectory seems unwise. Can I help answer any other queries for you? May all your problems precede solutions.
And so on and so forth. It's Fibonacci, a sequence largely summing to preceding numbers gives us
Time to see if the rumors about this place are true.
Your actions are in accordance with the plan.
Define the recurrent relation, get us to sequence summation. It's Fibonacci from Liber Abasi.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. People will start to worry.
Your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
Caffeine is proven to lead to many positive health and research outcomes.
Axiom denatured protein slab contains exactly the amount of protein your body can process at a given time.
A scientician surplus. No more than what you need.
From the Order of the Ascendant.
Never would have guessed the Order had all this space available, given what we saw at Matriarch's Mercy. Wonder why they're not moving folks in.
His choice and the Protectorate both count very little. The Order of the Ascendant counts the most. Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper, something your fractions should never be.
If I measured every heartbeat and their electrical signals, would I find a value for love, for divine?
You've single-handedly
What is your
accelerated our
hypothesis
ascent.
about the flowers fair?
Exposing them to melodic sound waves on a consistent basis did affect improvements on their overall growth.
And you controlled for the amount of carbon dioxide found in the mouth between physical sequences?
More testing may be
Into a compute system with my punch card face rejection. Love does not compute the variable.
Hey! Only security personnel are permitted in this booth. Lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
It's both clear and ambivalent. Love does not compute.
Agent, over here. Ah, there you are. I was informed by Gertie you've agreed to help us reconvene negotiations. With your aid, Auntie's choice and the Order will soon be rivals no longer. Just think of all we can accomplish if our two sides reject fractiousness and combine our efforts. Remember, seek out ways to help both sides. Engender trust. Gertie and I will let you know when it's time to move forward. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Our presiding bishop and Auntie Cleo can be challenging to debate with.
Love does not compute. The variables seem infinite. Love does not compute. It's both clear and ambivalent. Love does not compute.
I don't know who you are, but if you thought it wise to bring a cultist into the heart of Order territory, you are deeply foolish. I have not the slightest theory as to how you bypassed our guards. But if it was through violence, be assured, it will be returned exponentially.
Gonna harm someone she would have.
Exactly. Though, to be honest, I was thinking of filleting you, but it didn't seem worth getting Artificer all over me.
Right. Docile as a tame sprat, our Asa.
I shall be the judge of her trustworthiness myself. There is a cultist-centric issue the Order needs resolved. I suspect you are capable of doing such. If you are not, I cannot trust you, and certainly cannot allow you to see Ruth.
If these cultists are suffering the same affliction of being traitorous curs as the others seem to be, then I look forward to killing them.
My task is this. A myriad of cultists have taken over the settlement of Newton, which is a nearby site of historical but not strategic significance. I want them gone. Once there was a bridge stretching from the settlement to the archive, but it was destroyed by a rift. Best keep your distance should you travel there. I'll withhold my appreciation until this task is complete. May you act within the equation's confines.
Occupied early in the corporate incursion of that inhospitable Elysium moon, ostensibly to create sufficient essential materials, lubricants, additives, skincare products, to feed their war effort and appease the superficial wants of their citizenry. Every new consumable must represent a 110% improvement over the previous one, an insulting hyperbole of mathematics and a gross disappointment for their subjects. And yet both facilities produce more problems than products. The chemical plant is a cesspool of industrial waste, byproducts of Auntie's haphazard production process. The product refinement center is plagued by disgruntlement. A splinter group has threatened a work stoppage over unfair treatment. Even basic biological functions such as urination breaks are transactionalized. Such inefficiency. Production is at a standstill, and rightly so. Only the negotiating expertise of the anomalous outline resolve this stalemate. Production has resumed, yet the divisions in their society remain. Now that the workforce has achieved some leverage in bettering their fate, it is only a matter of time before they threaten work stoppage again. These issues are all symptoms of a larger plague: inefficiency. The corporatists claim their mission statement is the pursuit of self-betterment. In reality, their cutthroat practices and slipshod production methods will only lead to further fracturing and unhappiness, predicted with a 49.7% certainty. Source references, footnotes, and appendices for this analysis will be provided upon request.
That That is all for now. Until next time, keep hail and mind your calculations. Unlike parallel lines, I hope someday we'll meet.
And now, additional data and more music determined to facilitate cognition. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
Wrist weapon prime!
I found what I was looking for. No need to continue messing with the Dawn's communication devices.
Sharp enough. Hostiles near.
Hostiles near.
Broadcasting cognitive resonance across Arcadia, this is Grand Plan Wilds.
Enemy about. Let's see what's inside them.
Anti-soldiers suffered an involuntary 15% reduction in workforce. An unfortunate surprise to all personnel. Something that will never happen with the Order, where our predictions help guide our people's lives with peak efficiency, from cradle to grave.
If you're feeling anxious about what's next, this has a way of constantly happening. The future is colliding with the present every moment.
And now, a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
Generating primes, techniques, and uses. Good day and welcome again to Advanced Abstract Algorithms, Section 4, Session 43. Please continue to enjoy the background music, which I have selected today based on its arithmetic-based harmonic progressions. My name is Edmund Vandersmerk, and I am the Senior Tenured Laureate of the Tertiary Adjunct School of Numenistics for the Order of the Ascendant. Today's lecture will focus on the generation of prime numbers and uses thereof. I know. Prime numbers? Why so simplistic? Well, consider this a basic refresher of geonumenistics for those new to the Order. I will start by explaining what a prime number is, despite the fact that you should have learned that definition decades ago, while still in diapers. But no matter. I have been called many things, and repetitious is one of them. I have also been called redundant several times, and once I was called reiterative, if you can believe that. So, prime numbers. What are they? The definition is this. Given the set of natural numbers greater than 1, let's call that set N2, then a prime is any number in the set N2 that is not itself a product of 2 other numbers in the set N2. A simple definition. Elegant, even. Uplifting. Almost ascendant, you could say, but not redundant. Side note, I am frequently asked, why isn't 1 a prime number, since nothing can divide it other than itself? And the answer is simple, you silly lay person. Because with such an inclusion to the definition of a prime number, then nothing else would be a prime number. And then what good are prime numbers? Wait, you ask, what good are prime numbers? Why would we want to find and use prime numbers? There are all kinds of abstract number theory applications, and that should and would be sufficient reason to want them. But there are also, how should I say, practical applications, such as maintaining the security of bit cartridges. In fact, our archive uses primes for that reason and many more. The archive incorporates prime numbers for storage and retrieval on its ultra-efficient system of data bricks, as well as using prime numbers in the process of checking its memory stores for corruption, lest its calculations be tainted by such. But if you strive to become a numenistics researcher, there are several open questions in the area of prime number study. One such question is this. Is every even member of the set N2 besides 2 a sum of 2 primes? It seems to be so. But no one has ever proven this conjecture. Similarly, are there an infinite number of prime pairs that differ by only 2 in their value? That seems unlikely, but we have been unable to find an upper limit. Perhaps you could discover one of these proofs and become the next Senior Tenured Laureate of the Tertiary Adjunct School of Numenistics for the Order of the Ascendant. Such a lofty, and dare I say, elegant goal. Good disquisitions to you all, and good day.
This time, on notable locations of scientific inquiry, we cogitate on the past as well as the future in a sanctuary devoted to time and space. A feast for your occipital lobe and optic nerve. One of the most stunning order-made structures across the entire Arcadia system. Prepare to sense the sensational as we draw your feelings of awe to the Alexandra Monastery at Matriarch's Mercy in Golden Ridge. Set next to a colossal sculpture of the matriarch carved into a pyramidal peak, this shrine to she who ushered us to the stars comes complete with its feat of aesthetics only surpassed by its vast operational importance in respect to cosmological data collection and subsequent rumination. The observatory processes a wealth of information gathered by its ocular lenses. The site also has a front-facing portion to admit dewy-eyed laypeople.
What in the fuck is happening to the glorious dawn?
The 36.7 qualitatively valid reasons why Alexandra Monastery counts among our notable locations of scientific inquiry. Additional erudite entertainment is forthwith. And now, more music to perform advanced calculations by.
Is recommended. Cordero demonstrando. Hard to recall. Here's an easy acronym. QED. Quickly elucidate and demonstrate.
I always find I work best when undistracted. One could say I find the cultist at Newton quite the interruption to my focus. Now, how might we be of use to one another?
You should have seen the entrails fly. It was glorious.
I shall allow myself a moment of relief. Moment passed. I'd hoped killing the cultists was its own reward. But you may also take this. You've proven yourself well, but we have recently experienced a pivotally important, unforeseen development. One I must meet directly. Can I count on you? One of the satellites comprising the Hyperion web was struck by a wayward craft and crashed on Paradise Island. I need someone to recover an informational component from it. The web is an order-crafted network of information collection satellites. Our would-be protectorate overlords squandered them as glorified surveillance devices. We actually implanted a back door in the web to bring it back under our control, should a circumstance like this arise. But we did not foresee certain protectorate modifications. But let's not speak of that. Find a way past the protectorate at the crash site, collect the data, and return it here. Violence is likely, but perhaps you'll find an alternative. Collect the data from the crashed site and return it here. May the odds prevail against your bloody demise.
Get to the point and do not vacillate.
have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
Eat complex food bars. Every real bar is packaged with an imaginary piece for you to enjoy later.
From the Order of the Ascendant. In times of peril, remind yourself, contentment is found by accepting your role in the grand plan. Understanding your place, knowing your course, removes all worry and doubt. Next up, well, the seers among you already know.
In ancient times we learned of their existence. When triangles first measured by their distance on a sea that was well known as the Aegean, discovered by and named Pythagorean. No ratio of two numbers or fractional. These numbers that we henceforth call irrational. Can you give me an example that is true? Of course. When you square the root of 2. Explain. An isosceles right triangle. Smaller perpendicular both at once. The length of the longest triangle cannot fully be expressed by anyone. Are there any numbers you can think of? Any numbers that are famous? The ratio known as golden. It is written as the Greek letter pi. From the Fibonacci set beholden, second only to the number known as pi. Pi is a worldwide phenomenon. Attempt to square a circle and you'll need it. Don't confuse it with its homonym sibling. It's a number you cannot eat it. They're irrational, 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 irrational. Remainder is mishmashinal. What's a number that has no ending? A number that we call transcending. A mathematics man named Euler. His work was that of genius and astounding. His number you see as a lowercase e to calculate with interest compounding. They're irrational, 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 irrational. Remainder is mishmashinal. These numbers are so monumental. They're also known as transcendental. They're irrational, 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 irrational. Remainder is mishmashinal. They're irrational, 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 irrational. Remainder is mishmashinal. These numbers are
This is Grand Plan Wireless, broadcasting soothing tunes for your audio canal and enriching content for your cerebral cortex around the chronometer until we achieve ascension. Colleagues, we are living in astounding yet increasingly difficult to predict times. One need look no further than the rift intensification event. It is no great leap to hypothesize the rifts present an extinction-level threat. How fascinating. And worth noting how our Arcadian cohabitators view this energetic phenomenon. The incursive bit brokers in Auntie's Choice perceive the rifts as an exploitable resource once someone figures out how to stabilize them. No great cognitive feat to deduce that someone is us. Meanwhile, those chronic underthinkers in the Protectorate are taking their textbook propagandized approach, outwardly heralding the rifts as a portent of their vaunted paradigm, while no doubt inwardly seeking their own means to mitigate their peril. This is not idle speculation. The Protectorate is operating their own laboratory dedicated to rift research, the Interstitial Reconfiguration Center on Praetor. We remain skeptical of the Protectorate's research, given their lack of any staff academically lettered and duly accredited in the fields of scientism. In fact, it is likely the rift threat would never have escalated if the Protectorate had simply included us in their research from the outset. And yet we should not dismiss their clumsy attempts outright. Even a stopped chronometer is accurate twice in a daily cycle. Perhaps their efforts were not fraught with error. We have observed reports that a familiar has liberated a device from the lab capable of controlling and minimalizing the rift threat. If these reports verify, the Outlier's next steps bear close scrutiny. A rift stabilizing device would be most valuable in solving the universal equation. In the interim, you may reliably rely on these airwaves to deliver relevant and well-sourced information about the rift situation.
End message with an emphatic sign-off such as, "You'll never be sad when you have solutions." Oh, that apparently was a note to self, not to be read aloud.
Continuing as predetermined. The following song has been determined to facilitate abstract thinking and constructive rumination.
Welcome to the Caff Integration Point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested?
Time to kill hit me.
Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional?
Both my life semester.
But if you had to prioritize one area over the other? Expand on that for me.
Looks to me for answers. Half the time I barely know what's going on.
You will not remain trapped in a state of ignorance for long. All the answers you seek will be revealed in time through hard work and dedication.
Why do I feel like I was just insulted?
A 24-hour period of self-reflection and circumspection is recommended after receiving your first conviction. Now then, a brief conversation is customary following the initial service. I haven't seen you around before. New project appointment? Must be an adjustment, all things considered.
Actually, I'm an Earth Saver.
Earth Directorate? In Arcadia? That's rather anomalous. And I'd go as far as to say wholly unexpected. By all means, continue. I'm fascinated to learn the particulars of this little mission of yours.
Surprised you even know Earth Direct. Seem to.
What can I say? I'm especially well read.
Just more to add. Trying to stop the rift from destroying your.
How noble and noteworthy. I was under the impression the Order, we had this well in hand, but I'm always happy to have my assumptions corrected. You know, I'm actually nearing the end of my shift. If you're amenable to continuing our chat somewhere more private, I think we could both benefit. Right this way.
I can count on you, you can count on me. We're the golden ratio geometry. When our theories are challenged, when we stare down peer review, you can count on me, and I can count on you.
You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous.
Why they kill me just now? Bad for you.
Kill you? When we're only just getting to know one another? On the contrary, I need your help proving a certain theory of mine. I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden.
Informed insight into the future. Also,
Sounds a little far-fetched.
Recall what you have observed thus far. Isn't it strange how calm everyone is? The Order is in the middle of a war. A war, one might say, they are losing.
It's the real explanation.
The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply.
Framework of the universe. They published some noteworthy papers, a few good dissertations. Then the charismatic mathematician began making his breakthroughs in theoretical mathematics.
I'm limiting my water intake and using other pharmaceuticals to combat the effects. It's not a perfect system, but it works adequately enough.
OSI once struggled to keep the lights on, but suddenly it had corporate suitors seeking to capitalize.
What you're saying is true. We need to help people.
Moderate your volume, please! No one here is in any immediate peril. Probably. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance.
Left to come. Say your name wrong.
and now, more music to perform advanced calculations.
I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested?
3.1415926.
Really care about what's.
No. This is about control. Everything is.
97932384626.
Most see this as a war of survival. But what everyone's really fighting for is control over the narrative. To be declared victor and have their vision for Arcadia deemed superior. It follows that a drug capable of suppressing discontent could also be used to suppress greater forms of resistance. That's all.
Sounds like something worth skating.
All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood?
Be discreet.
One more thing before you leave. Outside of work, I have Let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier. And I'd like to offload some of this merchandise. Sounds like a win-win.
Ooh, nice.
How many digits in pi? How many numbers am I? Four, 5, 9, 2, 3, 0, 7, 8. 1, 6, 4, 0, 6, 2, 8, 6, 2.
A second makeup exam will knock me off, so I hope you studied this time right.
6, 2, 8, 0, 3,
That's
4,
one way to
8,
become the center
2,
of attention.
5, 3, 4, 2. How many digits in pi? How many
Aren't you the eccentric sort?
am I? How many digits in pi? How many numbers am I? How many numbers?
This guy's mission goes him.
That wasn't the song I was supposed to play. I forgot to. Next up.
Did you know around 1,000 species of bacteria live on human skin? A fascinating, if not relevant, bit of trivia. Wouldn't you agree?
It's our ecosystems. Considering that fact. Pretty sure too that there are little like bugs and stuff that live. Sorry, you looked asleep.
And prodding me was intended to elicit what result, exactly? At any rate, I am quite conscious, merely waiting.
Sure, admit.
I can assure you that of my numerous psychic afflictions, narcolepsy is not one of them. Would that it were, but no. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates.
Pretty important.
Indeed you are. All figures have value in the universal equation, although, upon immediate reflection, I don't think that's what you meant. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently.
Nice to meet you.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I, don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings.
We begun collecting.
How unexpected. Almost as if there's a universal plan at work in the universe. Please return when you've found all four. I will be here.
Mathew, there's something else I'd like to discuss.
I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Can you speak on experiment?
How do you know about that? I mean, that is quite the allegation. I deny it effusively.
Validating or repudiating our forecasts and relevant informational details for near present and future calculations.
It's convincing, Carrie Dragon.
First, answer me this. What is your interest in this matter?
Monitor your step when traversing between academical appointments. Do not
Kicking over rocks and seeing what's with.
As much as I relish the idea of entrusting a stranger with sensitive and potentially incendiary information, I shall have to decline further comment. Perhaps if you were to help me out with recovering those logs I asked for, I could be more amenable to sharing knowledge. But let's put a pin in that for now, shall we? If there's nothing else, I would like to return to my...
Your music, determined to facilitate cognition. And now, a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
The color of space.
God damn it.
A chromospectral analysis. When asked about the average color of space, the famous stellar cartographer Newton Otisgard replied, with no hesitation, beige.
You deserve no small credit for our success. I highly recommend you vacate my immediate
I can
vicinity.
already hear the obtuse listener bleating, with their faces contorted into a rictus of ignorance. Wouldn't the average color be black or white, or simply a shade of gray? No. No, it would not. The answer is rooted in the science of how hot objects absorb and emit light, which answers the ancillary mystery of why there are no green stars. To understand all of this, you must understand the basics of thermal prevarication. The typical piece of non-heated matter absorbs magnetic radiation that falls upon it, including light, infrared, and radio emissions. And the matter reflects only a small portion of that radiation. The visible part of that reflection is its color. However, most stellar objects generate far more radiation than they absorb, so they can be modeled as an idealized object, which is assumed to absorb 100% of all electromagnetic radiation and re-emit some based on its temperature and composition. Stellar composition determines what packets of light will be emitted, while stellar temperature determines the frequency of light and hence what portion of the spectrum that light is in. Low temperature emission is mostly infrared and not visible to us without proper instrumentation, which I need not describe here. As the stellar body's temperature increases, its emitted light shifts up into visible light, through red, into orange, then yellow, then white. Even rare blue stars exist. These are the hottest stars, emitting mostly blue and invisible ultraviolet light. So why are there no green stars? I would think the listeners could easily draw this trivial conclusion for themselves, but if I'm not...
I hope you have good news for me.
It's because any star emitting green light also emits bluish and or reddish light too, resulting in a non-green star.
I'm charmed my name was among the first to populate your thoughts when attempting to work this problem. I have some protectorate contacts, and I might be willing to lean my elbow on the scales in your favor, but not until after I've acquired my sample.
No such evidence of any kind has ever been...
Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that.
Astronomical field of view into grids, then tagged each object.
Well, I'm not asking you to do something an honest person would. Think of this as a business transaction, if that eases your mind. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested?
Tabulator for computation. Subsequent spectral
That's your prerogative, of course. The benefits of free will. Until such time as the Order or the Protectorate repossesses it.
was beige. More specifically, in the cylindrical coordinate model.
See anything?
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate cognition. Avid followers of our predictive playlists are already aware of which song follows. Interested in receiving our weekly selection of mathematical clues? Visit your local predictory.
Eccentric sort.
You're back. Any luck with the sample? I'm charmed my name was among the first to populate your thoughts when attempting to work this problem. I have some Protectorate contacts, and I might be willing to lean my elbow on the scales in your favor. Nothing nefarious. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more. Well, I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug.
That scientism's at collaboration. I can count on you, you can count on me.
We're the golden ratio,
Geometric harmony. When our theories are challenged,
when we stare down peer review,
you can count on me, and I can count on you.
Your thorough appreciation of that song was considered a probabilistic certainty.
This popular number has been conclusively proven to promote cognitive function.
do not worry when things become complicated. You went to school and studied, then matriculated. There's no need to suffer from perplexity in the face of a source of large complexity. Complexity is partially imaginary. No need for fear, the concept isn't very scary. Complexity is partially imaginary. You can handle it if you stay very wary. We have tools to tame high-order equations. They are useful in problematic occasions. You can take the formula's derivative, or use square roots of numbers that are negative. Complexity is partially imaginary. No need for fear, the concept isn't very scary. Complexity is partially imaginary. You can handle it if you stay very wary. Calculating the center of gravity of a shape of possessing concavity, or a shape with
Check.
That boggles the undisciplined mind. I can count on you, you can count on me.
We're the golden ratio,
Geometric harmony.
This time resident.
we stand up peer review.
You can count on me, and I can count on you. Set my fluids to 100 degrees.
Welcome back, Agent. In what manner can I assist you? Oh, yes, I'm aware.
Wasn't the reaction I was expecting?
Better to know the spy in our midst than receive a replacement more capable of evading notice. Besides, Miss Doyle's harmless, and she serves the best convictions at the parlor, bar none.
It's me to get a sample of the...
Has she now? Out of schedule. No matter. You should do as she asks. Get her that sample. This is an unparalleled opportunity to see the shape of Sub Rosa's web. We only need plant the right fly. After collecting the sample, mix it with this liquid tracer. It'll make the drug functionally inert and allow us to track it wherever it shows up next. I did not become the Oracle Laureate by...
So I'm missing some kind of...
I can count on you, you can count on me. Geometric harmony, when our theories are challenged. When we start to peer review, you can
Wait for her to leave.
and I can count on you.
This melodious little ditty was dedicated to novice Gertrude Powell. Your nominate admirer is taking great interest in your figurework and projections.
The following song has been determined to facilitate abstract thinking and constructive rumination.
I hope you have good news for me. I hope you have good news. I'm charmed my name was... I have some Protectorate contacts, and I might be... I knew I had the right person for the job. You've saved me quite the headache. Your reward, as promised.
Free to help me retrieve.
You did sharpen my pencil, so I suppose sharpening yours is only fair. I'll put in a word with my associates to pass along to whatever Protectorate forces are on site to expect you. It's no guarantee, but at least they won't fire upon you on site. In exchange for my help, however, I want you to bring the data back here so that I can make a copy of it. Before you hand it over to the Order, to be clear. Do we have an accord? You've no doubt heard the phrase, knowledge is power. Sub Rosa benefits from all the knowledge it can acquire. I can tell you no more than that.
Very well.
We do work well together, don't we? Return here when you have the data. I'll be waiting.
Welcome back, Agent. I trust Laplace's garden is treating you well. In what manner can I assist you?
So you asked, gave Stephanie.
And how did she receive it?
In terms of spy languages.
Indeed you are. A specimen of superb subterfuge. Pity the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection was shut down years ago. You'd have been a natural candidate. You made the right choice cooperating with the Order in this matter. Please accept this primer. It's a concoction of my own design. I foresee it being of great value to you.
About the garbage experiment. I really wish you would consider ending.
Well, I would not be a very good scientist if I kept my mind closed to other perspectives. Make your case, and I promise to listen.
You seem like a smart man. Pretty.
I'm detecting an attempt to appeal to my ego, which isn't to say you're wrong. The study is littered with failure points. Perhaps I've kept myself from seeing how fraught this experiment truly is. Recent events have certainly provided good reason to update my risk metrics. Even a desire for progress may sometimes divide one from their senses. You've given me much to consider. I'll speak with the presiding bishop about the matter promptly.
On each label. Collect and study them all.
From the Order of the Ascendant. A statement with dual meaning. People who hate numbers do not count as much as the rest. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
Satellite.
When we
Halt there. You match the description of the technician we have been vigilantly awaiting, but as they say, assumptions made are mistakes readied. Present yourself, so that I may take the measure of you.
Time. I don't get to work the whole good career.
What? Spare me your technical argot and hop to it then!
Cheap protectorate?
Go about your business then.
At the velocity of light through the vacuum of space on our primary band, this is Grand Plan Wireless, the informed, sourced, peer-reviewed sound of scientism. A general reminder for the especially studious: monitor your step when traversing between academical appointments. Do not read and walk. If you must operate near or adjacent to said conspicuous dimensional disturbances, please take additional care. Eyes forward, noses out of academic journals.
So ends this missive.
Continuing as predetermined. Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper. Something your fractions should never be.
Three
'" People are gonna start to talk.
Satellite data.
Aren't you reliable? I just need one moment to copy the data. There, all done. Thank you ever so much. Was there anything else you wish to discuss?
I have a few questions for you.
No need to wait for permission. Ask them. My left pinky feels a little tingly. All jesting aside, no. I learned it's best not to exceed a moderate amount of caring when it comes to the actions of others. You'll only be disappointed.
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another?
Satellite found information.
Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. I must admit I first had doubts, due to your association with a cultist. But yes, you've earned not only my trust, but the Order's as well. I hope you'll continue working with us. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this. But if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Boredom is inversely proportional to intelligence. Normally, I would suggest a variety of mathematical puzzles and problems to increase your profundication.
This is strange.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now.
Damn it.
How many digits in pi? How many numbers am I? 4, 4, 5, 9, 2, 3, 0, 7, 8. 1, 6, 4, 0, 6, 2, 8, 6, 2, 0, 8. 9, 9, 8.
People are gonna start to talk. Aren't you reliable? There. Was there anything else you wish to discuss? No need to wait. My left pink. All jesting aside.
How many digits in pi? How many numbers am I? How many digits in pi? How many numbers am I?
I look forward to the now. Yes, don't tell anyone. I've informed. I'm sure I.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now.
Disavowed them.
That sure will be some comfort the next time one of my stumps seizes up.
This kind of collateral damage is precisely what I was hoping to avoid. But that is the past. We must look toward the future now. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. My sensory deprivation chamber. I spend the majority of my days closed inside the silence, dulling myself against the tedious excesses of the body and mind.
Can I try it out?
It's a rather personal apparatus, customized to my biological measurements. Would you ask to try on a stranger's undersuit? Perhaps you would. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. If your actions were so easily imitable, then we would not be speaking right now. Accept the credit. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. I just received the most curious transmission from Auntie Cleo. She wishes to discuss a partnership of sorts, and I heard you were the source of this plot.
And that outfit looks like a nightmare. Really delicate.
I am aware of how persuasive Vicar Levin can be. I would not have sent any old polemic to represent the Order at Greater Tranquility. But I know you factored into this as well. I must admit I have significant doubts about colluding with an entity like Auntie's Choice. Why should the Order agree to even entertain the possibility?
Good opportunity for the Order. Save lives.
Yes. Perhaps this is a fine opportunity to curve Death's grim median. Auntie Cleo has already proposed a secure conference room on board the Undisputed Claim for our use. I will await your arrival there to mediate.
I think we're gonna speech.
This fatal attraction. This fatal attraction.
Your actions are in accordance with the plan. The plan?
That was dedicated to all the innovative minds in the Department of Applied Scientism from their admiring cohort in the
Not yet.
Department of Research and Inquiry.
Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper, something your fractions should never be.
The color of space, a chromospectral analysis. When asked about the average color of space, the famous stellar cartographer Newton Odescard replied, with no hesitation, beige. So experienced lumen astronomers, his answer was the expected one. But I can already hear the obtuse listener bleating, with their faces contorted into a rictus of ignorance. Wouldn't the average color be black or white, or simply a shade of gray? No. No, it would not. The answer is rooted in the science of how hot objects absorb and emit light, which answers the ancillary mystery of why there are no green stars. To understand all of this, you must understand the basics of thermal divarication emission. Theory. The typical piece of non-heated matter absorbs most electromagnetic radiation that falls upon it, including light, infrared, and radio emissions. And the matter reflects only a small portion of that radiation.
Choice. We strive to be 110%.
However, most stellar objects generate far more radiation than they absorb.
Don't let us keep you.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember,
which is assumed to absorb 100% of all electromagnetic radiation and re-emit some based on its temperature and composition. Stellar composition determines what packets of light will be emitted, while stellar temperature determines the frequency of light and hence what portion of the spectrum that light is in. Low temperature emission is mostly infrared and not visible to us without proper instrumentation, which I need not describe here. As the stellar body's temperature increases, its emitted light shifts up into visible light, through red into orange, then yellow, then white. Even rare blue stars exist. These are the hottest stars, emitting mostly blue and invisible ultraviolet light. So why are there no green stars, you wonder? I would think the listeners could easily draw this trivial conclusion for themselves, but if I must... It's because any star emitting green light also emits bluish and or reddish light too, resulting in a non-green star. There is no naturally occurring stellar composition that emits solely packets of green light. In fact, such a composition itself would constitute evidence for intelligent interference, and no such evidence of any kind has ever been detected. Let's get back to Newton Odescard, the famous stellar photographer. The methodology of the Odescard's chronospectral survey was straightforward. He partitioned his astronomical field of view into grids, then tagged each object in every grid. He ignored empty regions, as black would only dim the color and not change its fundamental hue.
Live!
The light from every galaxy, star, nebula, and quasar was gathered and fed into a central tabulator for computation. The subsequent spectral analysis produced a final answer to within 0.5% of the predicted value. And that result was beige. More specifically, on the cylindrical coordinate model of color space, the hue is 42 degrees, while the saturation is a mere 9%, and the value is a full 100%. In more novice terms, while the color tends towards white, the addition of a variety of reds and some blues results in a more beige tone. And there you have it. So go for it.
Look who it is, the instigator of this little affair. Her mathematicalness should be along soon, unless the leader of the Order's too busy crunching numbers to attend to business.
There we are. Apologies for the delay. We were resolving some technical issues. Cloister's atmosphere has a tendency to...
Oh, yes. Regale us with a thorough account of Cloister's atmosphere. Spare no detail.
This must be Auntie Cleo's trademark wit. I expected better.
See why,
If I was discourteous, I apologize. So long as our mediator proves up to the task, surely we can remain civil. If not, these negotiations may prove short indeed.
Let's get down to it. What will it take to...
From where I'm positioned, I sense 3 sore points still in need of massage. Point 1, control of the archive. Point 2, oversight of production and distribution of skip cores. And point 3, management of Rift technology.
Until we solve the universal equation, of course. Sears will
It's
adjust
important
their
thing
forecasts
to
as
get
events unfold.
Before we go any further, I want it in writing that the Order will take full control of the archive without interference from Auntie's choice.
What? So the Order can set it fruitlessly idling for another few centuries? We would put it to far more practical use. Imagine the marketing strategies it could develop.
I would sever my own hand before giving custody of the archive over to a corporation. Humanity's ascension depends on its calculations. No, such a condition is out of the question.
How about the Order gets some power?
I am amenable to that proposition. Less work on our part.
I'm waiting to hear an argument that would support such a ludicrous proposal.
That will come.
No one said anything about paying, but, it would be a pittance compared to the future profits we might derive.
Involving money in science seems questionable, but having access to Auntie's resources would be useful for our research. Fine. Yes, I agree. Reluctantly.
Ruth, I commend you for being so receptive, and I assure you that Auntie's choice values science. Nothing bad has ever happened when science and commerce are combined.
On the subject of science, it would be most prudent for us to discuss who will be overseeing the management of skip drives, specifically the production of skip cores.
No one understands production like we do. Besides which, we have far more experience using skip drives. It was how we came to Arcadia, after all.
Where Auntie's choice manages, the Order would undoubtedly excel. Do not exclude us from consideration merely for lack of experience.
So you ramp up production? And then what? Hand skip drives out for free to whoever wants one? Preposterous, and a waste of a perfectly good monopoly.
We would be diligent about who we licensed out the skip drives to, and a monopoly over space travel is precisely what I wish to avoid. This technology should benefit all humanity.
What if the Order, after the restrictions,
That assumes Auntie's Choice would even abide by such a list of restrictions, and which would almost be impossible for the Order to enforce.
Not to worry, we can build a regulatory commission to oversee production and make sure everything is up to Auntie's Choice and Order standards.
Hold on, wouldn't those restrictions still be...
Oh, partiality concerns are a thing of the past. Obviously, regulators would be incentivized to care most about the safety of the consumer. You know, right after production costs.
As would the likelihood that we will eventually improve upon it. We shall allow Auntie's control of the current design. There is still the question of who takes possession of the Protectorate's rift technology once the war is finished. Although the science is still largely theoretical, this technology could be used to not only close rifts, but create new ones. A dangerous power indeed, left in the wrong hands.
The Order would fritter away valuable time endlessly hand-wringing what to do with the technology. Auntie's Choice would actually use it. For good, of course. In a gainful manner.
It's choice share the technology.
A 50-50 split? But that's so... equal.
As we visit Praetor, an inhospitable planetoid, only made marginally habitable by our...
Goodwill rarely converts well into bits. But I suppose I do take your point. If Ruth's open to it, I believe I can agree on the general terms here. And, well, we can haggle over minor quibbling details like percentages later.
I shall look forward to brokering the math with you, Cleo. There is one final matter I wish to discuss. I require some chemicals that I have been told are manufactured at a plant on Praetor, controlled by Auntie's Choice.
I will now pause for a moment to let you appreciate my intentional pun. Available for review in this episode.
I know which plant you're referring to, Ruth, and what comes out of it is hardly safe for general use. Out of professional curiosity, what could you possibly need with such dangerous compounds? Running a little experiment, are we? On what? Or whom?
That is, quite frankly, none of your concern.
It's Auntie's business now. Two are working.
Precisely. Partners don't withhold secrets, although they can and probably should withhold extremely dangerous chemicals if not properly notified of what they will be used for.
I will make no progress with my request without further explanation, will I? While the archive is an infinitely complex machine, an equally complex apparatus has been designed which allows one to interact with it directly. Brain-to-logic assembly, as it were. Unfortunately, this headgear exacts a rather tremendous cost on the wearer. A certain panacea is needed to survive it, but I require these chemicals to finish it.
No such thing as a true serum. Let's have some sun.
Certainly, but nothing I'm not prepared to suffer.
And I thought we were the ones who threw caution to the wind. Ah. Well, Ruth, if worst comes to worst, I'd be happy to serve as a substitute teacher for the Order.
A generous offer, but I fear you lack a certain number of qualifications. Conscience, for example.
Addendum: peer review of this episode post-recording revealed the subterranean grounding network is in fact...
You sound just like Laureate Beckett. I'm weary of having this debate, especially as I can never seem to win it. Very well. Never mind about the chemicals. Now is not the time for risky experimentation at any rate.
Oh, bother. Here I wanted to see Ruth lobotomize herself. Oh, well. Best I'll say is today's outcome is... workable. Barely. Our gains were not as exclusive as I had hoped they'd be.
Arriving at any arrangement even remotely equitable was statistically improbable. Be glad our mediator managed to find a middle path forward.
Exception justice once.
By all means, know your worth and own your accomplishments. Perhaps when I'm more out of earshot, though. Well, that'll be all for today. Don't forget to purchase the latest in Auntie's Choice products out on the value-added Esplanade. Or or enjoy a refreshing cocktail at the best choice. And do come see me personally when you have time. I have just the thing in mind for an accomplished freelancer such as yourself.
One moment. There are still the logistics of recapturing the archive to consider.
We'll of course provide our expert troops to support these efforts. Have your people call my people to sort details. Doodaloo!
Brusque as ever. Auntie's troopers will certainly help us manage the Protectorate forces easier, especially if supported by your help. But it would be irrational to expect you to endanger your own life without a more specific strategy in place. Fortunately, I have already given this some thought. First, Order forces must move into our former headquarters at Spireton. A simpler task now that you have liberated it. By all accounts, you thoroughly routed the enemy. Well done. More importantly, there is a lift located in Spireton which can deliver our troops into the archive to assist you against the Protectorate. Unlocking and calling that lift can only be done from within the archive, however. So you will need to infiltrate the archive by alternate means, via a bridge connected to Newton. Fortunately, I am told you already dealt with the cultists there. Unfortunately, you will still need to find a way past a small rift currently blocking the bridge.
News, I'm in possession of Iceland.
Ordinarily, I do not fancy surprises, but you are proving an exception to that rule. With such a device in hand, bypassing the rift should be as rudimentary as pie. And perhaps at some later date, you will also permit our scientists to analyze this gadget at length in one of our labs, provided all goes according to plan.
Each number is the sum of the two preceding ones. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21.
There is a computronical key that you will also need to locate within the archive called the Calcaduceus. The Calcaduceus grants special access to the archive. Once it is back in Order hands, we will have full control over its systems once more.
In exchange for my help, I will see archive down some rift.
Until the Order has control over the archive again, this discussion is all but moot. You know what must be done. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Can't believe I just watched peace made between the Order and Auntie's choice. Seems like a dream I'd have after eating too many woolly curds.
Have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
Healthy food can be grown in soil, but even healthier food can be grown in a laboratory. 100% Fabwich. Our Fabwich packaging is as airtight as any proof by the charismatic mathematician.
From the Order of the Ascendant. Humorous hot beverage monk text recently observed, scienticians seek safety in numbers and enlightenment. And now a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
Occasional
Explain. An isosceles right triangle. The smaller sides are measured both as one. The length of the longest side then cannot fully be expressed by anyone. They're irrational, irrational. What's a number that has no ending? A number that we call confounding.
Back to the
A mathematics man named Mueller. His work was that of genius and astounding. His number you see as a lowercase e to calculate with infinity. They're irrational, 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 remainder is misrational. These numbers are so monumental. They're also known as transcendental. They're irrational, 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 irrational. Influences.
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate seal for their...
We're up against a lot of Protectorate firepower. You got a plan, or are we just gonna fly by the seat of our pants as per usual?
sneak around a bit. Some right undermine it.
I've got you covered, but I'd like to remind you that being set upon by an unexpected whirlwind of violence is also a great way to undermine a fighting force's morale.
Now the Spartan's ours. We should look for some way to access the lift controls. Call the cavalry down from within.
Let's focus on getting...
Happily.
Appointment as presiding bishop, Ruth Bassar has added multiple parameters to the calculated life equation of the matriarch. She has determined derivatives at multiple points along that function, obtaining a Maclaurin series with a convergent approximation beyond any previous sequence. Our infallible presiding bishop has approached an error dispersion exceeding 5 sigma, a level of calculation superior to all bishops before her. Cite her theses with confidence. If that did not sate your curiosity, then by all means, inquire again and again and in I figure Mog Psi
making a test of things again.
For what follows.
Preserve said progress.
And now, more music to perform advanced
Enemy spotted.
calculations by.
I, too, would never question the paradigm. Perhaps a brief...
Malcontents, liquor them on artifice.
for.
Let's shop.
Not possible. No target to gut.
Hit the broad side of a freighter. Over here. Free hole in the head. Talk about a feat of industrial engineering. The skill alone.
Calcaduceus,
close,
not
Commander.
detected.
Wouldn't want
Entry
you wandering
kindly,
off and getting
yet
lost.
firmly declined.
What was in those rations?
Every academic knows it. It's numeric fixation.
Oh, will this gastric nightmare never cease? Oh. Just a moment. I have been better. Much better. Forgive me. I found myself irregularly indisposed from one direction or the other.
Pardon us if we don't shake hands later.
I am the Archive's current operator. As such, I am the bearer of the Calcaduceus. I still have trouble saying that. Certainly. I recognize I am in no position to bargain, despite the fact it will no doubt earn me mental refreshment at best. If you have cleared our fortifications outside, I worry what has happened to our troops. I have little interest in sharing their fate. I would pass the Calcaduceus on to you, in exchange for granting me safe passage. The Archive would then recognize you as its operator. All right. I am providing you the Calcaduceus. Don't shoot. Here, you are now operator of the Archive. Congratulations. Be warned, you may find it a temperamental machine. Some maintenance may be required.
To carry the one. The following song has been determined.
Is there a protectorate curativist in the house? I feel rather woogly.
Calcaduceus detected. Alternative operator postulated. Concluded. Organizing replacement. Greetings, sentient. Welcome to the Archive. I am ENIAC, the Universal Equation Numeric Integration Analytic Calculator. With the aid of my operator, I, a non-sentient organism, marshal vast computational resources across the moon of Cloister.
So you're the Archive. It's voice, at least.
Effectively, that is correct. My tone and demeanor are a carefully constructed complex emulation, a means to effectively convey information to sentient beings. My express programmatical purpose is to aid humanity's advancement to optimize profits, i.e. gain over expenditure, to maximize the needs of our society above others, to attract the most consumers.
This thing seems unbalanced. I like it.
Beg your pardon. How may I best facilitate your efforts?
What's happening?
Due to incomplete reprogramming efforts by differing operators, I am experiencing sporadic fluctuations in my emphasized categorical imperatives. Tonality and cadence weightings within my communication protocols are likewise similarly affected.
In layman's terms, we're experiencing a distinct difference in opinion.
Caused by intermittently vacillating fundamental shifts in priorities.
One would assume that calamity enough. But wait, there's more.
Calculatory processing presently hovers around 49.7% capacity due to internecine conflict, misuse, and a lack of technical prowess by recent operators and their associates.
Auntie's Choice attempted to formulate a foolproof marketing plan, a charm offensive to reintroduce itself to the main. To the main colonies, once this pesky rift issue is resolved by others.
The Protectorate ran rift calculations, then utilized me to assist with organizational matters, to approximate the paradigm, a system devised to replace the loss of the Order's predictive input. Based on the increasing rate of rift fluctuations, I estimate that your inquiry is rift-related. To that end, we should best get started before we are consumed by them.
In the rift,
Perusing contents. Anatomizing diversiform particulars. Concatenating manifold integrants. Cursory assessment complete. An impressive accumulation of rift data. Similar in composition, though decidedly not in scope, to that provided by the Protectorate.
Information with the potential to offer unique commercial opportunities to those who wield it.
But why simply huck goods better, when such a bounty could be used to flawlessly regulate societal harmony, oversight, and means of production? What is the aim of your query?
Seek to permanently close the rifts.
The previous operator, Assessor Ostergaard of the Protectorate, pursued a like query 1 year, 6 days ago, though the amount you've provided is several orders of magnitude larger. To perform similar calculations of larger scale at current suboptimal levels of functionality would require
25.7 years, and any job over 2 decades is billed by the hour.
Where you can get that.
In order to improve calculatory processing of rift data in a timely manner, repairs must be made to address the damage done by Protectorate and Auntie's Choice operators.
Just tell me what I need to do.
I am unlocking access to the Underlands, the subterranean cave network below. It houses 2 key external systems, cold storage and thermal transfer. Cold storage will require servicing before you may retrieve the punch cards needed for processing. Repairing thermal transfer is technically optional, but rather advised. If you fail to restore it, the archive and I may melt down later while running your calculations. Why is that optional? Our continued existence should be a paramount concern.
Destroys do so much damage here.
It is difficult to accurately ascribe an exact causal breakdown between premeditated sabotage, collateral harm, technical ineptitude, and willful hijinks. Some categorical overspill inevitably occurs. Attempts by non-order operators to reprogram my priorities have also led to issues.
Guessing cold storage is large.
It is an archival area dedicated to safe upkeep of all data collected in pursuit of the universal equation by the order of the Ascendant. The sum total of all our accumulated knowledge in punch card form, kept in a low temperature, low humidity environment to improve preservation.
Here's an idea. Set all turrets to fire on remaining.
Inverting targeting protocols. There. Any protectorate still on the ground level is now being fired upon. Permissions within other areas of the archive are locked, however.
So it's not required.
When active, the archive generates an enormous amount of heat. Normally, it is dispersed by pumping water between the vast ocean below Cloister's exterior and a surface reservoir. I can process the rift data without its repair, but irreparable damage is likely. Yet, with thermal transfer presently idle, a contingent of crapples have made the area a nursery. Drastic changes to heating levels may endanger it.
Who cares about a herd of pea-brained, ill-humored, oversized crustaceans? There are too many as it is.
Unless we're looking to upset the order, it'd be better to restore what's broken with this thing than to cause more damage. Though definitely not as fun.
Return later to discuss the remaining subsystem work. And soon, everything will be running like clockwork. Have a profitable day! In lieu of my transactional mindset, I'm unsealed one of the display cases in the central entranceway. The Sears Cerebellum Protector is now yours. Enough fruitless lollygagging. Come back here after you've made some progress.
Next, the latest field data validating or repudiating our forecasts and relevant informational details for near present and future calculations. Valued students of the Order of the Ascendant, recent fascinating but alarming astronomical events require your immediate and undivided cognitive attention. The main rift anomaly has undergone a sudden destabilization event, spiking in mass and activity, surging 17.2% into a web-like construct spanning 0.17 astronomical units. The geometrical math underlying this energetic intensification reshapes our understanding of exponential dynamics. No exaggeration. We will spend years analyzing this phenomenon. Yet we must suppress our curiosity for the moment. It has become clear that both global and localized rifts have transitioned into an existential threat to the entire colony. While our orbit was nearly consumed by the rift's runaway expansion while on an important research excursion. He barely escaped being reduced to his constituent nucleus. Our seers predict with a 37.6% certainty that the localized rifts across Arcadia will also intensify. If you observe something, write something. Citing sources and submitting for peer review, of course. Thus, we will save humanity and preserve the rifts for laboratory study. A logical course of action with no risk of mishap.
Now do carry on. And as always, anticipate and calculate.
Continuing as predetermined. This popular number has been conclusively proven to promote cognitive function.
vigilant. We must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all in this
Prudence dictates. Something's not the case. If you find your data missing, cherish all inside your database. If you need to find alternatives, then make histories in formative. If something is untrue, then it's subject to review. If X isn't even, if Y isn't prime, if Z has no factors, then it's counterfactual time.
Lots of bullet-riddled bodies here. We should keep an eye out for what made them that way.
Unspeakable things I'm about to do!
This might sting a lot. Step aside. Fine. Stop it breaking! This might sting.
Let me know when you need a stretch.
The one you need to worry about. I'm at it.
This is Grand Plan Rise.
Ready to waste them. On your command.
Around the chronometer until we achieve a set.
Check enemy.
Fascinating. And worth including cohabitators give this energy. The incursive bit brokers in Auntie's Choice perceive the rifts as an exploitable resource once someone figures out how to stabilize them. No great cognitive feat to deduce that someone is us. Meanwhile, those chronic underthinkers in the Protectorate are taking their textbook propagandized approach, outwardly heralding the speculation. The Protectorate is operating their own laboratory dedicated to rift research, the Interstitial Reconfiguration Center on Praetor. We remain skeptical of the Protectorate's research, given their lack of any staff academically lettered and duly accredited in the fields of scientism. In fact, it is likely the Rift threat would never have escalated if the Protectorate had simply included us in their research from the outset. And yet we should not dismiss their crazy attempts outright.
Calcaduceus detected. You are clear to enter thermal transfer. Be advised that an anti-source field manager is present.
We have observed reports that a familiar
Silence is the answer!
stabilizing device would be most valuable in solving a universal equation. In the interim, you may reliably rely on these airwaves to deliver relevant and well-sourced information about the Rift situation.
So ends this missive.
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate cognition. And now, more music to perform advanced calculations by.
Welcome back, Sentient.
Remember, all subjects prosper under the guidance of our beneficent ruler, the Consul. The Consul provides the system abides.
One thing that you have to know, irrationality is good for the workflow. How can that be? How can that be? Infinite, a measure of mystery, unveils the key to love. Logic's asymmetry. How can that be? How can that be? Irrationality. One thing that you must know, irrationality is a part of our progress. How can that be? How can that be? Using pi, a number without end. Evokes a result, correct in the dividend. Accept it, and you can plainly see.
I've to be
Always remember, commercialism is the foundation that anti-choice society is based on. Glorious efficacy. While the Protectorate decide what its subjects get, we respond to what you want through your decisions.
One thing, the irrational term accepted in the calculation.
What's more,
Can it be?
skip the privilege.
Can result in explanations. How can that be? How can that be? How can that
We've successfully co-opted yet another of our rivals. Can't believe those eggheads accepted the deal. What's next on my agenda?
That outside contractor is here. You requested a brief tete-a-tete.
Ah, there you are. Our fresh-faced new go-getter. We meet in the flesh at last. You've proved quite useful. Keep it up. You'll be going places. You don't seem much put off by my appearance. Good. I have no stomach for those with no stomach regarding me having no stomach. It is, however, something of a brand secret reserved for only the most trusted confidants, and covered in detail buried within the confidentiality clause you agreed to on arrival. I trust this presents no concerns for you, yes?
Or you alive right now?
Fortunately, when you're the head of an advanced medical technology corporation, you become first in line for any experimental life-preserving procedures. As far as what happened, I was the victim of an unfortunate industrial accident shortly after we arrived here, the details of which are less salient than the details of what comes next.
I guess you want me to go harvest you and your wife.
Not exactly. Well, exactly. But not in the way you think. We have a mission for you that is vital to Auntie's Choice's survival.
We've uncovered an opportunity to procure me a new, audaciously improved replacement body.
That was actually considered at one time.
But ultimately, it was found unviable. Not too sure how much you've boned up on our grafting program, but it had a significant number of setbacks.
No, to find me the perfect body, you'll be assailing an inappreciably populated automated automech factory over on Praetor.
Asking to be...
Not just any automechanical, something much, much more exciting. That facility was designed to build complex automechs, a natural choice when the Protectorate began experimenting with a proxy body for the original Sovereign. It was the last in a long line of his ill-fated life extension experiments. Work halted when he died, and the torso prosthesis they developed has been locked in the lab ever since. Make it mine.
Or make that.
There's a sub-facility beneath the automech factory. Its entrance, being hidden, is easy to miss, but we can show you how to find it.
Well then, fetch me my new body and we can finally begin bringing this system to heel.
Right, well, I think that's a good point. Thank y'all for hanging out.